2077, they voted my city the worst place to live in America. Main issues: sky-high rate of violence, and more people living below the poverty line than anywhere else.
What is the untold truth of Night City and its dark origins, its optimistic founder, and his ultimately tragic fate? The history of Night City began in 1994 with a rich and enterprising guy named Richard Knight and his idea to build a perfect city. A few years earlier, Knight had split off from his partners, Halsey and Ferris, co-owners of a construction and development company aptly called Halsey, Ferris and Knight, to set up his own company, Knight International. Knight initiated an ambitious new project. He bought the entire town of Morro Bay, a small neglected settlement near the border that divides Northern and Southern California that had nearly been razed by a roving booster gang just 2 years earlier. A fun fact is Morro Bay is a real place. It's a coastal city in California, and it's known for Morro Rock, an ancient volcanic mound at the end of Morro Rock Beach. Also of note is the landmark, the Three Finger Power Plant, which was erected in 1955 and was recently shut down, and is still seen today, abandoned in what one business leader has called a three-finger salute. I think that's a really cool piece of history to know that Night City was started in an actual location in California that boasts believable in-game lore. It's not like Richard Knight purchased Los Angeles or San Francisco. This was a sleepy little town. He had a vision, but what happened next? The army had a timely intervention that had saved the settlement from total destruction, and the ravaged and depopulated land was now the perfect spot to build something new. A safe, clean, corporate city free from crime, poverty, and chaos. It was called Coronado City. Knight found investors among the big corporate players by enticing them with lucrative tax benefits that boosted the economy and created a stable base for future citizens, the corporate employees. The project was a resounding success, and the fledgling Coronado City was indeed a wonder to behold. Thanks to careful planning, the city was well built, friendly, and safe, in post-collapse terms anyway. Then, 4 years later, after initial construction had begun, tragedy struck when Richard Knight was murdered by unknown assailants. Popular conjecture is that the attack was arranged by organized crime bosses with connections to the unions and construction firms that had been excluded from Knight's project. Despite public outcry in response to Knight's assassination and initial opposition to the opportunistic crime syndicates, the mob successfully filled the vacuum of leadership over the next few years, turning Coronado City into a haven for criminal activity. Prostitution, assault, drug trafficking, and cyber terrorism became commonplace, all as the city was ironically renamed Night City in memory of Richard Knight, an almost mocking tribute to his intended legacy, a husk of his original vision of a utopia and prosperity. After a decade of ever-increasing crime and death rates, the corporations decided to push back. Over a period of a few short days, the heads of almost every major criminal organization died at the hands of unidentified mercenaries, and a new city council was established. The council's first decision was to enlist the aid of corporate forces, empowering them to act in the best interest of the city and establish peace and order within its limits. Most of the downtown and central districts were cleaned up within the next few months, and over the next few years, the most devastated parts of the city were pacified, razed, and rebuilt. Thus, corporate reign had begun as we know it by the time of 2077. These were the humble beginnings of Night City, and though the ride has been tumultuous from its golden age in 2020, the fourth corporate war and nuke incident of 2023, the survival and recovery periods between 2023 and 2040, and the great rebuilding between 2040 and 2060, Night City has endured, and it's managed to stay independent from the new USA after the Unification War. And although the late Richard Knight's vision had been tainted somewhat and changed and altered over the course of the future, the city still stands in his name at the cost of his own life. That's it for the video. Let me know what you think of the untold history of Night City. It hasn't been told. It was written in the lore book, which is The World of Cyberpunk 2077, which is linked in the description. It has all the lore and it's got me hyped for the game. Please, if you want to stay up to date with the latest videos and the most dangerous districts in Night City, make sure to hit the bell and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. As always, thanks for watching, and until next time, traveler.